Losing Harrison to the quarterback room?
I mean, Harry was more juiced up to throw a toss than I've ever seen in my life. So that was fun. I know he likes getting to do that a little bit, so it's fun to watch.
I think Alex has talked about it a little bit, but like, how did that come about that all of a sudden he was the guy to do the sneaks and whatever comes off of it?
I don't know where that idea originated. Somewhere in the off season, we talked about it, and I think it's just a way to protect the quarterback so he doesn't have to take some unnecessary hits at times, and gives Harrison a chance to, gives the defense a different look that they may have not seen from us before, obviously, until we did it. So.
David, just how has he progressed in terms of, obviously he looks better, but just all told, just how has he progressed from what is a very scary moment to, where he is now?
It all happened very quickly, obviously, from the Friday night, I think it was, to playing in the game. A lot of adrenaline there, I think. I think we were very fortunate to have that bye week after, give him some time to recover and just, be by himself at his house and just get all the medical treatment he needed. But he looks good now. He's in good spirits. Very business as usual, really.
Is his coach in the room with them every day? Like, what's those couple of days like between Friday night and Sunday morning, just from a personal and professional aspect?
Yeah, it was scary when I first got the news. Saturday morning is the first I had heard of it when I got in the building. And then at that point, found out he was okay, but didn't really know what happened. Didn't think he was going to play in the game. So then it was kind of, once he was okay, it was just scramble mode, trying to figure out to move things around, if he didn't play in the game. And then he came trotting out there during mock games that he's playing. So.
He's obviously very, gregarious, bubbly personality. How much does kind of the room itself and then from there expand through the offense and the locker room? How much do they kind of feed off of that? Feed off of his energy that way?
I think a lot. I think a lot of the guys on our offense are, even our leaders are kind of quiet, and Dave's not. And so Dave's one of those guys that is able to be heard, and he's kind of a leader in that way, that everyone's not going to lead the same way, and he's kind of going to be more vocal than other guys on our offense. So I think he stepped in that role in the last couple of years and developed even more so this year.
Overall, as a room, what have you just been impressed about the way that the Titans have been able to really be a part of the offense throughout these first 6 weeks?
I think it's hard sometimes. Like, Dave wants to be, have all the production in the world. Harrison won the Mackey. Jordan Akins is used to having production, but we're doing a really good job of playing without the ball. And that's what you got to do at times. We're hoping the ball finds us, but guys just get their job done. I think we've seen it. Obviously, I haven't played perfect, but we've played really, really well, without the ball, doing all the things that it takes to be a good offense. Still obviously progressing in that way, but I think those guys playing without the ball has been impressive to me.
Them, I guess, because those, they have to play more off the ball, I guess, more so than.
It's something that we talk about no matter what's going on, but no, haven't had any conversations. They know what the deal is. We just beat, a really good football team, so I think everyone understands what we're doing there. They want to win.
Do you think the sense of pride and maybe satisfaction when the run game gets going and a guy like David can set one of the blocks to help that, does that make up for not getting that reception, not getting the ball? Do they play off of that?
It's definitely, we all take a sense of pride. From the sideline, you can hear when Dave makes a big block, Jordan and Harry, talking about it, celebrating. So definitely that. We take pride in the pass blocks, the run blocks, all that. But I think the biggest thing is winning the game. So when we won the game, it's all good.
Why is David so good? The team too, but then David in particular on those tight end screens, right? He had the one call back the other day, but that's something you guys do a lot. It seems like he's had some success.
Yeah. So part of coming with playing off the ball is we block a lot, and that's a good complement to that. The DN, was he going to play the run? He's going to get off the block? Is he going to try and rush the passer? Well, if he does, then we have the answer in a tight end screen, and then obviously when he catches the ball, he's just big and fast.
Plays Indianapolis. They're pretty good at linebacker with Franklin and Leonard, but what kind of challenge does that present for specifically for you guys, and that as you go into this game?
Definitely, they're linebackers that play side to side, sideline to sideline. It's a structure that we've played, a similar structure. Our defense, similar to the 49ers last week, so we've kind of had some experience in the angles we have to take and the play style that we have to be good against these guys who can run.
Yesterday said, yeah, he made some splash plays, but still has to clean up a lot in the details. To me, it looked like he played well. What was your assessment of how he played specifically against the 49ers, but then overall this year so far?
Well, I think what Jeremiah's referring to is what we talk about. And you hear from me all the time. He's such a great field player that when he's aligned correctly and has his eyes correctly, and that offense does a good job of taking your eyes, so there's some things early and the pace that they play with, even early, it's really hard to mimic in practice. So there was some plays early where his eyes were taken a little bit, and then he moved to it. As the game went on, you saw what you said, which is the production, because he got going. And the emphasis with Jeremiah is just put yourself in the right spot and look at the right things. And then what do you get? You get him being himself, explosive. He used his hands well in that game. So as the game went, he kept getting better and better. So the challenge for us and for Jeremiah himself, both us as linebackers and Jeremiah and as a defense, is starting the right way. And that comes with the focus, the preparation, and every player is working on how to get themselves ready for a game. Every coach is too, right? I got to go ride the bike a lot because I'm hyper, right? You got to know who you are. I mean, one thing I found out calling plays is if I was too hyper, I wasn't as good of a play caller as I was if I made myself right. So every person has to find that process, and he's getting better and better at that process.
I think Kevin mentioned it, that he feels like he's playing stronger this year, Jeremiah. And I know you talked about that a bunch in the offseason. Has it shown up to you?
Yes, and he's staying in his progress. The first thing was get strong, right? And then it was just like we said, becoming consistent. He's getting better on both those things. He's continuing his eating progressions, his nutrition, his workouts. And that's going to be the key because as we know, this is 17-plus game season, and we'd like to be on the plus side of that. And Jeremiah can be a really big piece for us. And it's exactly what we were asking the offseason talking about him. And right now he's in that process and he's getting better.
Why is this defense so well suited to him?
When you ask your defensive line to attack everything, right, and hit spots, it's the linebacker's job, as you hear from Coach Schwartz and all of us, to clean stuff up. And Jeremiah, when he has his eyes in the right spot, and not just him, all the backers, when they're in the right spot and aligned right and bumping correctly and talking to each other and they see things happen, he's got that great skill set to close distance and wrap things up. And he's doing that. And like I said, our goal is to continue to do that better and better. And we got to get better at doing that on the road. And this is our opportunity to do that. So that's where like all our room and some of even the linebackers you haven't seen yet or seen a little bit on special teams, our group is suited to do this, is see space and close it as fast as we can and then wrap up whatever's there. And we got to punch the ball out a little more, but.
On the road, I mean, is that just because?
Well, no, we got a road game. We haven't had a road game for a while. So we got to be able to start the way we start. We don't need to, we got to bring just the fire as a group and as a backers. It's our job to help line everybody up, like Coach Schwartz says, the nerve center, and take that on the road no matter where we play. It's travel. We got to make this travel and take it with us. And so that's a challenge because we're playing a team that has the ability to push piles and two good backs, and they're big, and we got to be ready to go from the jump. We gave up a touchdown on the first drive last week. Well, let's see if we can do better than that. That's what I mean is like taking it with us. So you're getting me excited.
How do those two backs complement each other in what they do style-wise, those sorts of things?
Well, they both keep their legs going. They both push piles and get positive. They get positive yards, and it's our job to not give them those extra yards on contact. It's our job to get as many of our defensive players to the ball as quick as we can against these guys because they're built low to the ground and their lower bodies are really strong. And that's what they want. They want positive yards in their system. So it's our job to get as many people to that point of attack as we can.
This time here, Jeremiah talked about balancing instinct and game plan. How have you seen him be able to navigate that and grow in that capacity? And has that translated to his other roles, even on special teams?
Yeah, like that first kickoff was outstanding. Like travel ball or setting the tone, setting the pace. Jeremiah set the pace on that kickoff. He just went and was absolutely physical and destroyed the whole thing, and that's what we need. Here's what he's doing better specifically. He's doing a better job of playing and play out, taking a note to himself, and just continuing to go back and look at it. Because, like we say in our room, next play is your best play. But if you don't remember what happened to you, so he's much improved at just watching each play he's in and going, okay, here's what I was thinking, and writing himself a note so that he can grasp that great feel that he has. Because if you're not present and you can't remember the play, I mean, we all have plays, coaches and players, that we don't, well, most coaches remember every play, but, right? But there's plays where something happens, you're like, oh, man. And then you're like, when you see it on video, you go, okay, I got that now. Let me make sure I get that. He's way better at that process than he was. He's just learning his own process. Every person has their own learning process, and that's what our job is working together, coaches and players, is figure out how everybody learns. Some of the guys are way more audio, just they can hear it and redo it, or they can see it. Jeremiah, as he's in his process and looks back at his notes, that's how he remembers. So now he knows.
Jeremiah's obviously gotten a lot of attention because he's played well. What do you like about the depth of your group?
Well, I think with Anthony and Sione, you're really seeing those are the lead three right now, but we're going to need everybody. That's how these seasons work. But what's great is they don't care. Like, they're all preparing to play any of the three positions. Not all of them play the Mike, so-called, that's the play caller yet, but they're all preparing to do that. And that's how we set the offseason, and we said we need to be, it doesn't matter, we're just linebackers, and we need to go. So I like that depth. And Sione and Anthony are working well off of each other, like, say they because they're on punt team too, so they got to cover punts. So we'll rotate who's in there of those three. And then you'll see the other guys put in different situations, and that'll come as the season goes. But like the depth, like where we're going, and it's because they all want to know every position. They're all unselfish, and they're doing it for the linebackers, but most importantly for our defense and our team.
Like big on personality and swagger, and you guys have a lot of that in your room. Do you think like a great defense needs to have that?
I think that to maximize each individual person and to become great as a team, you got to let yourself show within like what you're trying to do in any business. But in football, it is that. It's swag. When you make a play, you should have a blast together. And you see us do that. And that is contagious. And so, yes, when I'm around that and I'm excited about it with Coach Schwartz coming and where we're going right now, because it is contagious, and we're all about that in our room. I mean, we watch every little thing that they do at the end of each play and say, hey, listen, that's a celebration loaf. You got to get with your teammates and go over here. So we coach it, we expect it, and we love it.
How close do you think Sione is to being back to where he was, coming off that knee?
I think he's gotten better and better. I thought Sione was key in the second half this week, playing a lot of snaps, really getting the calls. He was another one. We talked a little bit about Jeremiah early in the game and then later in the game. Some of his first little drives, he might have been off a little bit of alignment. By the time that game went on, Sione was outstanding. So I think he's close. And I'm excited where he's going. He works his, whatever you want to fill in the blank with, off.
Expecting to see the Jonathan, the healthy version of Jonathan Taylor?
I think it's just like anything. You get better at playing football as you keep playing football. So, yes.
Hayward's been dealing with that concussion, but just what is his presence meant to the room?
Well, he's the same every day. And I say this a lot about Awak, son of a coach, all of that. He really gets football. He gets people. And he understands that it takes everybody being their best and working together to win. And he's absolutely amazing how he interacts with people, everybody. and you always see the big smile, just like you guys see when he's up here, and you can't say enough about him. But he is, you can use, I mean, there's a lot of the cliche terms, glue, whatever, however you want to describe it, he's it, and he's really good at it, and we love him.
A lot of Indy that their coordinators said they might use Taylor and Moss together on the field at the same time. Like, from your guys' position, defense overall, like, how would that kind of challenge you guys or stress you as opposed to being able to focus on the one guy?
Well, they did it 2 times last week, so we're aware that that is, and they're both good players. So if I'm, if I'm in there, I'd be thinking about having those guys on the field at the same time. Traditionally, that scheme has used 2 running backs at the same time, and so we're preparing for it, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.